You think the chills means it's coming. You think the angel number means it's close. You think the signs that you see here and there are the confirmation, but none of them means what it actually does. There is one sign that your manifestation is actually close. And most people miss it because it feels like the opposite of what they expected. It's close when it feels like this. Most people look for signs in their reality. The synchronicity, the 1111. Oh, I just visualized and I saw it on the billboard moment. Cute, but not cute. But that's not really the sign. TikTok girl saying, "Oh my God, I saw 333 and it's happening." Nope. The real sign is you feel completely detached, neutral, calm. It's almost like you feel what you would feel when it's already done. But that feeling doesn't come from your need to feel it so that it can happen. That feeling is natural. That feeling is who you are. That feeling is you have finally matched the identity of a version who already has it. Not because you have given up, but here is the psychology behind it. When your nervous system no longer gets activated, gets in the hyperdrive mode, or gets deregulated, or starts to worry or have this dopamine hit, it means that the gap is gone. It means it's normal. It's obvious. Of course, why not? It means that the belief and faith have turned into knowing. I know who the freaking hell I am. I know this. You're not desiring from lack anymore. You're living from arrival. You're living from arrival. And that's when your manifestation lands fast. Because if you really think about it, you have matched the frequency of someone who has already has it. So when it comes, you wouldn't feel any different because you're coming from arrival. And the thing that you want is on the frequency. Now, most often, what people try to do is they try to force themselves to feel it. They feel the need that if I don't feel enough, if I don't visualize enough, if I don't journal enough, it's not going to come. And they're doing all of that from the identity of the person who's trying so hard. It's like, would you need to affirm it 10 times to become a mom when you already are one? No, you wouldn't, because why would you need to do that? You already are it. You remember it. It's obvious. So this is what it is when it's like you are already that person. Now the question is, how do we crack that? How do we make it natural? And there are three powerful steps that you can use to crack it, because having that kind of state is acquired. It doesn't mean that, oh, if I don't have it, I've lost the chance. You can easily acquire it. It's science, it's how your mind works, it's psychology, and it's really powerful. The first question that what you really want to do is you want to understand what part of you doesn't believe that you can have it. Maybe you're saying, I need more followers before I can have a successful business. So when you're saying, I need more followers, you are putting that thing off yourself. What if you could have just received without more followers? But now you have created a hoop in the middle and you have delayed that because feels safe, feels familiar, but you really want it, but you have increased, you have put in something, you have put in an obstacle. Or maybe you're saying, I need to be better at marketing. Maybe you're saying, I need to have more time before I can turn things around. Maybe you're saying the market has to shift, right? All those things where it's one step away, you have to understand where you're adding the steps because there are no steps, right? One of the really powerful tools that you can really understand at a deepest subconscious level where you're having these kind of obstacles is you in your imagination fully immerse in the vision of having it without questioning your belief, without saying, okay, do I believe that or none of that. You just say, you know what, I'm going to jump in that vision to the end fully and I'm going to feel every detail of it, the smell, the taste, what people are saying, how my life is, every aspect of my life, my business, the way things are. And all of a sudden you will start to have these botheration, these like discomfort where you'll be like, what about this? But you don't have this. You don't have enough leads. You don't have this thing. You don't have the nice sales plan. You don't have a strategy. And all these things will actually help you uncover where you're putting the separation between what is already your and where you are. Okay. The second step is after you have reversed all of that, at a conscious level, because you have to first reverse all that separation from logic. Do you know anybody with the same number or less followers as you earning that kind of money? Do you know somebody with small kids having huge success? Do you know? So, whatever your limitations are, as long as you can logically prove, because if you do not do that, if you go on the next steps without doing this, your conscious mind will beat you, will always create obstacles for you. And the more you will go on the higher frequency, the more you'll be put back on the lower run, because you'll always have this question, but what about? But what? But, this but will always bother you. So after you've dealt with it logically, you ask yourself, how would it feel if that was true? How would it feel if that was true? And this is a very sneaky and a very beautiful phrase, because what you're saying is, you're not saying, do I believe that? Because you don't believe that. That's why you're sitting here watching this or listening to this. You don't believe that. And that's why we're doing this work, this identity work. So instead of that, what you say is, how would it feel? How would I actually feel if that was true? And now your mind has gone through all the hoops and it's taking you right to the end. And you are saying, how would it feel? How would it feel? The more you go in that feeling, and as you have already dealt with the logic, the conscious, now you're tapping into the subconscious and you are normalizing the feeling. You remember when we talked about in the beginning, we said that that feeling is normal. You are detached. It's obvious, right? So that's what you're doing here. The more you keep doing that, the more you add emotion and repetition, because that's the only way to reprogram your subconscious. You build new neural connections, new neurons start to fire together, and you start to make it normal. All the things that are normal in your life that are happening right now are because once you thought that's how it's supposed to be. The amount of money that you earn might be too small for somebody and too big for somebody. Why is it normal for you right now? Because that's how you thought it's supposed to be. And now we are changing your normal. We are making it what you desire it to be. So you start to keep going. How would it feel? How would it look like? How would my life be? How would I actually feel? How would things be? And you really go in the end, you jump right in the end. And the third thing, which is really powerful as you practice the feeling, is you would say, how would I show up? How would I see myself? What kind of things I'll do and say and be? How would I actually approach money? How would I think about myself? So you start to now put that feeling in the being, in the embodiment. You're putting it in your body. You're making it who you are. You're showing up as that person. You're talking as that person. You're thinking as that person. So if you were meant to attract this much money in your business this month, would you show up with confidence, or you would say, what's the point of doing anything? It's not going to work anyway. So as you start to take that feeling into being, to the point that you are natural, you're calm, you have regulated your nervous system by doing the feeling work and by questioning where you felt it was far, it was inches away, and now you are being that. And as you do that really, really quickly, you start to manifest that and it lands. And I've seen my clients doing this within weeks. Like I landed $1 million deal, which should have taken 6-7 years, within 2 weeks of doing this. So this is insanely powerful, because when you shift your identity, everything is a reflection of your identity. Everything is a reflection of what identity, what frequency you're plugging into as your dominant being frequency. And that's when, instead of trying or having the need to feel, having the need to affirm, everything just stops and you're like, this is who I am. This is who I am.